Hello everyone, XQ Crafting here. Welcome to my channel. It's great to have you here. So today I'm gonna be showing you how to transform mini trees from dollar store into a bigger Christmas tree. So I start with the base with 4 trees and I move all the branches to one side of each tree, and then I'm gonna tie them up with zip ties. And just to let you know, for this particular tree, which is the biggest one I made, which is the tallest one, it is 40 inches tall. It can be a little bit taller if you don't cut the base, the metal base, but I thought mine was gonna be unstable, so I cut it to be sturdy, and it reached 40 inches. After the 4 trees are connected, I just fluff them up. I'm gonna end up not using that base, the base that comes in the tree, but if you want to make a fuller mini Christmas tree, you can. That's how it's gonna look. Then I repeated the same process, but this time with 3 trees, and I connected them with zip ties. Then I did the same thing with 2 trees, and I'm gonna have another one, a single tree at the top. So I started with 4 for the base, 3 above that, then 2, then 1. So in total, to make this same tree, you're gonna need 10 mini Christmas tree. You can see that the tree have an opening on the top. Sometimes it's covered by the branches and the thread. Just make sure you have one of them clear, so you can pass the wooden dowel that we're gonna be using through. In this case, I used the 1/4 of an inch wooden dowel because it fits on that metal base. Then I'm gonna connect all the trees with that. You can use a wooden dowel and attach the trees directly to that wooden dowel with zip ties, but I did not want to do that. I just used what I had, and that's why I'm doing this way. I connected all the trees with the wooden dowel, but then I realized that there is a big of a gap in between the trees. You can leave like that if you want, but I did not want that big of a gap. If you leave it, you use wire garland, so you can make it fuller, but I did not want to do that. I didn't want to have that big of a gap, so I just cut it. Before I cut it though, I just have undone the thread that comes in the base, on the metal base for the tree, so that way it doesn't go all the way up and destroy the whole tree, because that's what is holding everything together. What I did is I just have undone the thread above a little bit where I want to cut it, the metal part. I tied a knot and glue it back with a dot of hot glue. As you can see, it's not that far apart anymore. You can glue that with hot glue because it's loose right now. So after you put the hot glue, it's not gonna move anymore. However, I didn't need to do that. I just pull all the branches, like the smallest branch from the bottom tree up and around the base of the top Christmas tree. Then I zip tie around those, so that way it gets very, very secured. The tree doesn't move and is not flimsy at all. You can use hot glue on the dowel in between the trees, but just doing that, just pulling the smaller branches up to around the base of the top tree and zip tie it, everything together, it works good. It worked out okay for me. That's how the tree looks, and it looks ugly right now, but once you add all the wire garland on it, it will look great. Here's what I was saying, the extra wire garland, and I'm gonna cut it in two for the smaller branches, connect to the smaller branches of the tree, and then twist it really well, and it will stay in place. You do not need to put one extra garland to each branch of the tree. You can if you want, but I didn't think it was necessary, because adding to a few of them in each roll, it will add fullness and fluffiness to the tree. Then for the medium-sized branches, I cut the extra garland in 3 pieces, and I also did the same thing. Just tie them up, like twist them really well, and it will stay in place. The parts where I thought at the top that it was not full enough and I didn't want to cut the extra wire garland, I just put a whole one around the base, and then I twist it. I thought everything looked okay and full enough. I just started cutting at the top so it looks symmetrical. It would follow the shape of a Christmas tree. And that's how the tree looks after you add all the garland. So I made 3 Christmas tree to put in my porch. I made the biggest one, which was 4 inches, and then I did 2 smaller one medium size and small. The medium size, I started with the exact same process. The only difference is instead of starting with 4 trees, I started with 3, then added 2, then 1 single, but everything else same process. To make the smaller tree, I started with 2 and then 1 single. And here is how all the 3 trees look, and you can finish there if you want. I will tell you, this next project is to put the trees and make sure they stand. You could leave it on just the base that it comes with the tree, but I thought it would be more stable to add in a vase or a container. The problem is I couldn't find a bucket, the metal bucket that Dollar Tree carries, and I couldn't find any other container to put my trees on. So I found these baskets on Dollar Tree, and then I thought I could just cover it up, add some floral foam, add some weight to it, and add my trees. But I would save yourself the trouble of doing this project. I will show you what I did, but you don't have to do it, because honestly it is more time consuming actually than doing the Christmas trees. So if you have a metal bucket or a vase, a real one, just to put your trees, just put some floral foam on it and then put your trees to it. But here's what I did for mine. I removed all the attachments, glue it down some floral foam. I would suggest to put the floral foam later after you finish covering up the basket. Got some marbles, and that's just to add weight. I never opened the little package, I just left them in the package and put on top of the basket. I'm covering the basket with postboard paper just because I wanted to cover with a contact paper, and I know it's not gonna adhere to that basket, so I just thought that adding postboard would make it easier. Well, it was not. So I covered the whole thing. Because of the shape of the basket, I had to cut it in little pieces so I can glue it down without so much wrinkles. Otherwise, it's gonna be impossible to glue that down. I did the same thing towards the bottom just to make it easier to glue it. I got this contact paper from Dollar Tree. The adhesive is not that strong, so that's how I knew I needed to cover that basket with something that will make a little bit smoother, but it's not smooth enough to hold on to it. So I'm gonna end up having to use hot glue as well, because what I already said, that the shape of the basket is kind of weird. It's not symmetrical, it's flimsy, and it's very light. It's not gonna fit a full piece of paper without many wrinkles, so that's why I cut it in smaller pieces. And then I'm also cutting at the top even in smaller pieces so it can finally adhere. I left like about half an inch on the bottom so I could fold it, and then the same thing I did on the top so I could fold it, and that I use hot glue. Be very careful with hot glue. It's very painful. The burn from it is super painful. Then I took it out the base from my tree, made a hole in the floral foam and the little container, put some hot glue so it can stay there. I stick my tree on it, and the last part is just add some weight with my marbles from Dollar Tree. I end up covering up that. I just got a fake snow tarp from Dollar Tree, and I cover both the 3 trees base. And here's how they look just with lights. You can decorate as whatever you like. I decorated mine very simple with just the lights and a few Dollar Tree ornaments and ribbons. And here it is. I hope you try to replicate this project. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. You can leave comments below if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.